Oh, howdy all, grab yourselves a beer. It is time for some Path of Exile discussion. Now today, I wanted to talk about the plans for integration of the Metamorph League mechanics into the core Path of Exile game. It's been pretty typical at the end of Challenge Leagues lately for the League mechanics to remain in the core game, but in a less intense fashion than what's available during the League. And that's basically where GGG are going with the Metamorph content. So, keep in mind that the Conquerors of the Atlas expansion, so that's everything related to Varan, Veritania, Elhesman, and Drox, and Cyrus, all of that is going core and already has been core for the last 3 months. So that means that standard players have been experiencing that. Whereas the Metamorph mechanics, so Tane's Lab, Tane's encounters in maps, Catalyst for crafting, those things haven't been in the core game. They've been features specifically of the Metamorph Challenge Leagues. So what's happening is that 10% of map areas, and this is only applicable to maps, it doesn't count during the storyline, 10% of maps will have a Metamorph encounter in them. Just like with Blight, this is going to be paired with an increase in the drop rates of Metamorph exclusive loot. So that's specifically the Catalyst. Every single time that you do get a Metamorph in a map, you will be guaranteed at least one option for a catalyst in the loot rewards. Now, you won't necessarily get the catalyst you want, and I expect that fertile catalysts, prismatic catalysts will remain expensive and sought after in future leagues, but you will always get offered at least one. Additionally, though, this is what was done with Blight, but there's a couple of things that are going to make Metamorph a bit more prevalent than Blight is at the current time. So, there's going to be scarabs added for the Metamorph content. 3 tiers of scarabs. Rusted Metamorph Scarab will add a Metamorph encounter to the zone. So you'll be able to build up a Metamorph. It'll basically be the same experience you get for having for just running a map during the Metamorph League. So Rusted Scarabs take that 10% chance to get Metamorph encounters and scale it up to 100%. Polished Metamorph Scarabs do something a little bit better. So, with the Metamorphs, when you kill your Metamorph in a map, they'll give you a sample if you've managed to juice them up enough. With a polished Metamorph Scarab, you'll get your Metamorph encounter, and if you qualify to get one of the samples at the end, you'll get 2. So, my understanding of this is that, for instance, if you're fighting Colony the Unrepentant in a Basilica map, if you kill him as the boss, and you juice up the encounter enough that you get, say, a Conley the Unrepentant's liver, you will also get an additional piece, but it may be a different one. So you might get a liver and also a brain from him, instead of just getting a liver. Alternately, you might get 2 of the same liver, so you might get 2 livers. That we're just going to have to find out how that plays in practice. So Polished Metamorph Scarabs will basically be less than double the rewards of using a Rusted Scarab, because you'll only get 1 loot explosion, but you'll get 2 itemized samples, but it will be meaningfully more. However, the Gilded Scarabs are a huge leap up. So where the Rusted to Polished is small, the gap between Polished and Gilded is huge. With a Gilded Scarab, not only do you get all of the benefits of a Polished Metamorph Scarab, so that is, you get the Metamorph encounter and you get the double itemized sample from the boss, but additionally, all Metamorph monsters have some sort of reward. So what this means is that you, instead of seeing a selection screen for Metamorph where there's not many of these symbols, you're going to instead see a whole lot, something like what you see here. And here you'll be able to go, okay, here, probably take the Catalyst, but just check all the others to see if there's, a 6-link unique weapon here, or 6-link unique armor, or something valuable here. There probably isn't, so you'll take the Catalyst. Here, most likely you're going to take the Blight or the Divination card options, but that's just going to be a case of having a look. If it's a blighted map, then you're going to take that. If it's stacked decks, you'll take the Divination cards. Again, there is the potential to get something extraordinary from one of the others, and you want to check them, but that's where we're going to default to. 1, 2. Here, for the lungs, you're going to take the Catalyst unless there's something about the rest that makes it look extraordinary. Here, probably take an Enchanted Helmet, but again, check everything. And here, doesn't look like there's anything particularly great, so you're probably just going to take the currency. As you can see, this gives you a lot more choices. You're going to get 5 good rewards, rather than getting, 2 good ones and 3 rubbish. So the gilded Metamorph scarabs are going to be really impactful when you get them. So these are going to be something to look out for. And one thing that I think I really like about having these scarabs, if you're the sort of player that is trade focused and you like Metamorph encounters, you're going to be able to run Metamorph in every single map. You're just going to need to pick up a lot of scarabs from other players in trade. So that's an option that you've got. If you really didn't like the Metamorph mechanics at all, then you can just sell every single Metamorph scarab that you get. And if you're somewhere in between, then you can do a bit from column A, a bit from column B. Maybe you sell some of your scarabs, maybe at other times you just feel lucky and you go and buy a couple of gilded ones off other players in order to try and chase a bunch of catalysts. Now, because there's no space in the Betrayal rewards at the moment for this, there's a few changes being made that are going to make Aisling someone you might want to keep around in the Syndicate now. So, Aisling's Veiled Jewelry rewards, Veiled Weapon, and Veiled Armor rewards are all being combined, and this means that you will now get Metamorph scarabs from her if you fight her in Intervention. So that's a big bonus there. Additionally, Katarina will sometimes drop various scarabs, including she already drops all the other scarabs, but she's going to now drop Metamorph scarabs at times. And there's space for the Metamorph scarabs in the Scarab tab. Finally, there's going to be a Sextant mod that will add Metamorph monsters, so that basically is going to be similar to the current situation. Do keep in mind, something that a lot of people don't realise you can do with the Ivory Watchstones. Now, this is specific to Ivory Watchstones, the unique watchstones that drop from Cyrus. This doesn't apply to the watchstones that you collect by killing the Elder Slayers time and time again while you're setting up your Atlas. But when you kill Cyrus and you get a watchstone from him, if you use a scarab on that, sorry, not a scarab, a sextant on that, and you get a really powerful sextant mod, but it's one you can't really abuse. Let's say that you get strongbox monsters are enraged and have plus 500% increased item quantity. You can then sell that sextant to another player. Not that sextant, that watchstone. You can sell that to another player, and they will be able to then socket it into their Atlas and take advantage of everything there. So if you're looking to run lots of Metamorph encounters, again, you might be able to trade for Ivory Watchstones that have already been hit with an Awakened Sextant, and that Awakened Sextant has rolled Metamorph encounters. I do think that the Awakened Sextant only mod for Metamorph encounters is going to be too good to roll over. Essentially, it gives you three times the benefit of a Rusted Scarab, and I do think these Rusted Metamorph Scarabs, they'll be at the more expensive end among Scarabs. They're also stating here that they're setting up that they're considering the option of having Metamorph as a Zana modifier, but it won't be immediately. And this is something that they said also with Legion. Legion was set up as a Zana encounter, wasn't available in Blight, but then became available in the Metamorph League. I'm kind of expecting we might see Blight as a Zana modifier next league, although that is, again, just me speculating. So, I think this is going to be something that's going to be a lot of fun to mess around with here. If you really like the Metamorph encounters, you're going to be able to chase them down. If you don't care about them, then maybe you'll do them when they show up and never use the Scarabs, never bother using the Sextants. The choice is yours. Most importantly, if you're playing in a trade league and you're someone that wants catalysts for crafting, they will be available from other players in trade. Of course, the price is going to be determined by how rare they feel and whether supply exceeds demand or not. I kind of think that we might see a world where catalysts actually are a little bit cheaper next league, and that's because of how powerful these Gilded Metamorph Scarabs are. I think these might be one of the very best Scarabs next league, and there'll be a lot of people really going for them and using them on 8 modded tier 16 maps, really juiced up, ridiculously juiced up maps, on characters that are confident they can beat any Metamorph that's thrown at them. And then those players are going to be turning each of these Gilded Scarabs into a whole bunch of catalysts, especially if this is anything to go by, 2 catalyst rewards on the original thing, then you're getting 2 samples. Every time you take a set of 5 samples to Tane's lab, you tend to get a catalyst out of them on average. So yeah, you're going to end up with quite a lot of them in the economy, which means that if you're wanting to craft with them, you'll probably be able to do so. you got any comments or questions, fire away. Otherwise, going to leave it there. Hope you have a good one.